something. And I was like, okay, time to get up. All right, we're good. Good morning, you guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
So it was much needed rest. And so I know I won't be getting that much sleep the next couple days because that's how it is. I'll have like one day where I just crash. And then
You'll be all right.
and then I'm back in like go mode. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's get it. Good morning, Elise. So hopefully you guys had a very good Thanksgiving or morning day because some people they're mourning, they're not celebrating. So hopefully whatever you did yesterday, hopefully you were good with your family or at least in good spirits yesterday. Oh wow. Oh, the snow sounds not fun. Good morning, Stephanie. I always say that, like, it looks pretty on pictures, but you know how I feel about that cold. I'm not a fan. And it's crazy. About a year ago, last year around this time, I wanted to move. I wanted to move, and I was contemplating thinking of moving out of Florida so that I could get seasons. And I was like, oh, I want seasons and blah 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 blah.
No,
And
you
then I
don't.
took a trip to Colorado around this time last year, and I drove, so I got to drive through all these states, and it was cold as shit.
Yeah.
And I think as soon as I got past Louisiana, my car had the little a warning talking about snow warning, and I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, wait, what? What?
My mom's like that. My mom really misses the seasons.
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't been here long enough. I don't know. Not worth it. Don't like them.
Oh, Lori, we're gonna send her some love and some support energy, and hopefully she's able to just work through her grieving process. It's not easy, and it's always sad to hear, but hopefully you can help her just work and allow her to grieve, right? Allow herself to grieve. Yeah, I'd rather have the postcard versus anything. It sounds good, seasons, but when it comes to
Actually, having to deal with it.
actually having to deal with snow. All right, Misty, we'll get to you in a minute. Having to deal with snow or having to like shovel that shit to get out and about and all of that. Yeah, probably not.
See, I used to love fall, but then the fucking leaves fell off the trees, and then you have to rake them up. So I'm cool. I don't even like that.
I think the only time I loved the leaves all on the floor is when I was little, because playing in
Yeah.
it and running and shit. But if you ever lived in like a house where you actually had to do yard work, that was never fun.
Mm-mm.
That was never fun.
Mm-mm.
It's like, yeah, no. So yeah, I do at times, and then I remember like, yeah, no, I'm good. Because around this time in Florida, we can wear sweaters. It gets down to about
Yeah.
60. There are, coming into, especially when you get into like January and February, there's like really cold mornings where it gets to 40s and stuff like that. So not that bad. I get a little bit of nice, cool weather. I don't need snow and like the fucking those big ass furry jackets and shit. I do miss my UGG boots. I will say that I do miss wearing UGG boots. That's probably the one thing that I fucking miss, because I don't care what anybody says. I'm not wearing that shit in Florida. It's too fucking hot for that shit. I'm not wearing UGG boots in Florida. Not happening.
Mm-mm.
Oh shit, Brenda's in the I'm going somewhere mode. Good
You
morning,
better
Elisa. I have felt that before. Putting gas in my car is, and
we're
then
just
it's
going.
like, you got 400 miles, and I'm like, ooh, I can go so many places with that 400 miles right now. Yeah, see, you guys who live in Michigan, I don't even know why you live there. I don't. I don't even know what is the perks to living in Michigan.
Mm-mm.
Well, Brenda, speak it into existence, you know. That's the biggest thing. The beauty is that we can always, always change our direction. We can always pack up and move if we want to. And that's coming from someone who has literally moved states. I've moved across country. I've moved, I went from Cali to Florida, Florida to North Carolina, and then I went from North Carolina to Nevada, and then from Nevada to here. You can literally restart anytime you want to. And it ties into our show today, which is letting go, because you just have to be able to let go.
Mm,
If you can get to the point of letting go, oh, you can restart anywhere, anytime. Yeah, I don't know what you were thinking. Oh, it's cheaper. That's what. Okay, that's why you moved. It's cheaper. Yes, Florida's not cheap, not anymore, especially in the last like 7 years. Um, Everything skyrocketed.
Florida.
I've thought about moving up to Georgia because Georgia is really cheap and it's not that far from Florida. But I'm just not a Georgia person.
I don't think I would be.
No, I've been there a couple times and I'm like, yeah, no. I know it's cheap. I know you could get really huge land for cheap. But do I want to live there? Nah. Mm-mm. I wanted to tell you, real guys, blah, blah, blah. So remember, this is the Thick Goddess Energy morning show brought to you by Divine Moon Goddess Healers and Readings.com,
.com.
where all your questions get answered. I did want to let you guys know it is Black Friday, a lot of deals going on, but our classes are on sale, not because it is Black Friday, but because they are on sale as we transition to the new platform. So I just wanted to remind you guys of what you can get and what you can learn right now and how cheap it is right now. So let's start with the tarot class. If you've been thinking about learning tarot, and my tarot class is a course, not a class. It's like it's like 12 to 13 weeks. I'm still deciding. I'm still fixing a couple things, so I haven't really made it 13 weeks yet. Could be 12. There's 12 classes right now. All right. So it's not 13 weeks because it's pre recorded. You actually can learn it as fast as you want to. You don't have to wait. I am still in the tarot class. So the good thing right now, if you were to purchase it, you'd actually be able to sit in the classes because I haven't recorded all of the 12 classes. And so this is a $450 value class that is 125 right now. So just to let you guys know, we have done 6 classes already. So there's 6 recorded. We still have 6 to go. This Monday, we're actually off because I am off this week. So we're taking a break for the holiday. But so that is a really good steal. If you know someone who wants to learn tarot, you definitely can purchase the class for them. If you have someone that's been talking about it, okay? Mediumship and spiritual development. If you've been thinking about fine tuning your skills, if you've been thinking about opening up your mediumship skills, because everyone has the ability to open up their mediumship skills. Don't ever feel like you're not as gifted as the next person. You can open up your skills to feel and to connect with past loved ones. Okay. That one is 6 weeks, it's pre recorded. That one is $50. Okay. Um, we have chakra yoga, which is $15 per class. There's 8 classes, okay, just to let you know. It's each chakra. The 8th one is all chakras together. So just know that it's 15 per class right now. Master your shadow. If you're thinking about doing shadow work, if you're thinking about tackling, balancing your light in the dark. When we say shadow work, if you don't know what shadow work means, let me know. We can talk about it. But normally people go through a process of working through their shadow, working through undesirable parts of themselves. Sometimes it does have to do with trauma, but it's not all about trauma. And I don't want us to always dwell on trauma. And trauma is different for everyone. If you go into the class, you'll understand the different levels of trauma, things that maybe happen to you that are traumatic that you didn't think it was trauma. Because when we say the word trauma, we're thinking gruesome, we're thinking catastrophic, right? We're not thinking that some minor things to someone else is trauma. So master your shadow is just diving deeper. If you see you have repeated negative patterns in your life, if you feel like you have repeated cycles in your life, if you're dating the same type of shitty people, if you have the same type of shitty friends, that's shadow work, is to get you to open up your mind and understand the whys behind it, because there are whys of why you're in these situations. Okay. So master your shadow right now is $25 for 4 classes. Now, remember, all of these are pre-recorded, so you learn it as fast as you want, and you have access. There's no expiration to the access of the classes, okay? I want to make that clear because we're in transition. So what you purchase from the site right now, you will have access to it as I use my YouTube channel for the classes. So you do have access to the classes. That's not going to change. Even when we start the new platform, these classes will tweak and change a little bit to what is it, to kind of fit in the platform, I guess,
Yeah, to be
right?
like the online course version, I guess. I don't fucking know.
Right. So it will change just a little
Hopefully.
bit, but for the most part, the information in is the same, if that makes sense. We do Oracle has her zodiac class if you want to learn more about zodiac, not just the bullshit you read, right? About the zodiacs, but if you want to go deeper into the zodiacs to understand the zodiacs, they're, the light and dark side of a zodiac, that which is good and bad, however you want to view it, right? Even to the houses and things like that. Her class right now, which is 7 classes, is $45. Okay. And there's a lot more to zodiacs than what most people knew. Even myself, in the past 3 years, where I knew about zodiac, I knew about astrology, but I didn't know how deep it went into things and how it connected with us
Mhm.
on such a personal level. And so it's amazing to kind of look. So if you're thinking about that, if you've been thinking you want to get more into astrology, we definitely have that for you as well. And then we do have chakras. You guys have heard me talk about chakras before, energy points in the body. It is very much connected to a Hindu practice. But if you want to get more information and get like about what foods tie into it, what emotions, what actions, how to fix them, how to heal it, how to balance, right? We do have the chakra course, which is 5 classes for $20 right now. So all of the classes until the end of the year will be on sale. So you have until December 31st to purchase these classes. Then the prices change. Okay. So just so you guys know, till the end of the year, the prices for the classes. So you could go to the website, Divine Moon Goddess Healers and Ratings.com, and that's where you can purchase any one of these classes and get in. I don't have any live class dates for 2022 yet. So myself and Oracle, we have no idea when we'll be teaching any of these live for 2022. All we know is that we will have the classes still available, the recorded versions, till we get the platform up and running. And then once we get the platform up and running, we will see how it goes and then be able to maybe. So I probably won't teach any live classes until fall of 2022, just because of the timing and everything that has to go into it. So just to let you guys know, if you're waiting on a next live class, it's not going to happen for a while. So good morning to anyone coming in. Yes, whoever was in the Soul Tribe asking about my haircut. Yes, yes. It's
Mhm.
cut. It's cut off. I washed it this morning, so I didn't have time to try to curl it. So I just threw some mousse on it and said, "Let me see what I could do with this mousse." And I was like, "Okay, okay, not bad,
Not bad.
not bad, not bad." So on a day that I can't fucking comb my hair, I still could do something that looks decent. And I was like, "Okay, okay, it's not bad." I said, "Don't forget your Mountain Dew." She's a Coke person.
I'm a Coke person. I'm very upset that I don't have a Coke this morning. So I settled for coffee. But I
Oh,
had ordered these Sour Patch Kids last night, and then I took that melatonin, and I'm like, I don't know how melatonin and a whole bunch of sugar is gonna like. help me in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So I left him.
Right, right, right. All
That
right. Good morning, Dana. So yeah, that I just wanted to say at 12 p.m. today on my Divine Moon Goddess page. If you're not following that page, definitely go follow that page. I will be doing a Black Friday sale. It is the biggest sale that I have done this year in my crystal shop. Lot of sales, even some of it up to 50% off on some of the items. So you definitely want to come check out by Crystal Live Sale at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. That will be on the Divine Moon Goddess channel. So with that being said, thank you so much for all the support, the love. This is the Thick Goddess Energy Morning Show. I am one of your hosts, Divine Moon Goddess. This is my co-host, Oracle Empress. If you didn't know who we are, I gotta change this banner.
was.
Okay, so I had this orange shit for Thanksgiving yesterday. So
Oh
I have
yeah,
to
I'm surprised you don't have no damn Christmas fucking background up
I
already.
was going to. I was going to. But I said, let me give you one day before you start staring at my presents. I was like, let me give you one day before you start staring at my presents. Yeah, I've cut my hair like that before. I know you guys don't know me that long to know that I've cut my hair short before. So it's not really like it's drastic, but it's not drastic. If you know my personality, when I get to a point of change, I do some drastic shit. And that's
Right.
just kind of how I am when I'm in that mode of change and growth. It's just like something has to go, something
What's
has.
that damn movie? It's one of my favorite movies. So why I can never remember the name? I don't know. When Angela Bassett cut off all her hair.
Don't say waiting to exhale.
Yes, that's a
I know it was that
waiting to
one.
exhale moment.
Well, she did some. I'm not that crazy where I'm blowing shit up, but
No, I only woke up like 32 minutes ago. So I'm not half asleep, but I'm fucking I could go back, yes.
right, right. Yeah, we already put Christmas tree up in the living room. My daughter actually rearranged the living room so that we could, because my living room has been a storage room for like 2 or 3 years and shit. I think about
Aww.
2.5 years, my living room has been a storage room in an office. So she actually fixed it around to put the
That's
Christmas tree and
cute.
kind of decorate the fireplace. I'm going to take a picture because it really does look cute. Her and the boys did that. And I was like, oh, okay. So we got a little Christmas feel in the house. All right. All right. You know,
Aw. So
I, I've always wanted to do the mohawk, but, I don't know. I'm not that bold yet. I'm not that bold yet.
uh-uh.
So let's get into it, guys. Now, anybody who would love to support or sponsor the morning show, information is in the description box on where to donate, where to contact me, just for anyone watching. And we do appreciate any support that comes our way, right? But let's get into it. Letting go is the topic this morning. We're talking about letting go.
But why?
How hard is it to let go? Why can't we let go? Now, we did a segment on attachment, right? We
Yeah.
did we did one on living a life of no attachment, which ties into letting go, right? But even like my hair, when I was talking about my hair, right? And people are like, "Oh my God, don't do it. It's so long." And it's just like, it's hair. It will grow back. Even if it doesn't grow back exactly the way it was before, it will grow back,
Right.
right? So, why are we so afraid to let go of something? Why is it so hard to make these changes that we need to? Why do we get to a point of, oh my God, if I let this go, what am I really fucking losing in this point?
Well, I am a better therapist than I am. What do you call it? Like when you can give really great advice, but you can't follow it for shit. Yes, that would be me. Um, I absolutely recognize. a lot of shit that isn't good for me, right? And I'm like, but I can't,
Right.
like, let it go. Like, and then what? Let it go. Okay, number one, I be 100% honest. I think we get comfortable in pain. Oh, maybe not comfortable. We get used to it. We numb ourselves to it. So all
Right.
these little things that irritate us or piss you off, or you get comfort in that. And so it's like when I think of letting go, I'm like, okay, and then what the fuck do I do? What do
Right.
I replace that shit with? I know with relationships, it's become, and I can say this because I'm far away from any relationship I've ever had. So I haven't had one in the state that I'm in now. So I don't have an actual physical. Um, but it's filling the void of being bored.
Right.
It's like if I get rid of these relationships, who the hell do I text when I'm fucking bored? I would hate to say that to this person. Hope they don't
Like, well,
ever
I'm only dealing with you because of boredom, but it's so true.
It is. It's like, what would I do with
True.
my time? What would I do when I don't have anybody to text or to call? So I'm better. I am so much better at telling you what to
Right.
do than it's that's got to be somewhere in my damn nodes, in my north nodes, or something because
Yeah.
I'm horrible. But it is. I think it's comfortable, and I think in some way, shape, or form, even though we don't want to say we've become comfortable in the pain, we've
Right.
become comfortable in that routine. We've become numb to some of the issues that have come.
Right.
Um, and it's like, get rid of that and then do what?
Right. Right.
And then get rid of that and then do what? Sit by myself and have to like myself and have to love myself and have to deal
Right.
with myself or deal
Right.
with my kids or deal with, so not to tell you guys that I don't like my kids or I don't deal with them. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like for some people, you know what I mean? Uh,
It's
but yeah,
true.
it's like then you have to deal with the real world, right?
Right. Misty, we don't do the readings in the beginning of the show. So if you can't stay, I can tag you later in it and you can rewatch it or I can refund you. Okay. One of the things when we're looking at letting go, and that's one of the biggest problems of why it's so hard to let go, because it's really not hard to let go. We make it harder than what it
Oh yeah.
is, right? And
Oh
we
yeah.
don't let go because of our own selfish bullshit. Basically, point blank, period. It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with it being, oh, I can't. We use the word I can't, right? But when you look at it, it's out of your selfish needs. It's not that you can't, you're refusing to do so, right?
Mhm.
So when we're looking through, and we've talked about this a couple times throughout the year of going through your home, start with physical items, start with things that have been sitting in your fucking house forever. Start with things that you need to clean out this damn closet that's full of shit that God knows where it came from and why you still have it. You know, you will start to find stuff that just is taking up space. And when we're thinking about energetically, right? Because even D, you mentioned like hair has energy. Yes, your
Yeah.
hair has energy. It carries it like everything in our life that we touch, everything that we've touched, that we've put time and energy in, right? Yes, get a new toothbrush. I hope that you guys switch out your toothbrushes every so many months. Okay, if you're not, you probably need to go do it, right? Even like your brushes, even like your mascara, you guys. I hope that you're switching out your fucking mascara. There's just everything that we have carries energy. The longer we hold on to these things, the longer it holds up unnecessary space. And when we're talking about why isn't my life shifting, right? Why am I not getting to a point of allowing new things into my life? Well, if you have your life physically and energetically or emotionally filled with shit, well, what room do you have for the universe to bring anything new? And we kind of talked about this even with love. when a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm over this person, and I don't know why this person keeps coming up in my reading." Well, obviously you're not if this old person, this past energy keeps coming up in your reading, right? You're
Hmm.
energetically tied to this person. So how can someone new and loving come in your life if you are still energetically tied to the past in that way? The past is there for us to look at because the past ain't going nowhere, right? No matter what we do, the past is there. But if we hold on to these situations and when I say hold on, because when you say, oh, I'm over this person, no, if you're still angry at this person for anything that they've done to you, you're still holding on to this person because you're holding on to this person energetically through anger, which is an emotion and an energy.
Yeah.
Yes. Hugely. If you are still sad, where you think of a situation with a person and it brings you to want to cry, you're emotionally, energetically tied to this person and situation. So when we're talking about letting go, we really have to get to the point to clear out so that we can allow new energy in. Can't do that. You can't do it if you got all this shit around you. I always say start physical because physical is easier.
Yes.
It's so much easier to take something and throw it in the trash because once it's in the trash, it's gone, right? Can't go in the trash and go get it. That's it. So it's
Mm-mm.
easier to start with something physical. But once you've cleared out the physical shit, right? Once you get to that point, like the other day I was going through all my drawers. I haven't gone through my dresser or drawers in fucking forever. And I was going through, I had bras that literally I'm not gonna fit these fucking bras. And I'll probably never go back to these bras. And I was like, yeah, let me throw this shit away. I was just throwing shit away that was just like, come on, it's time to let some of this go, you know. So when do you tell yourself it's time? Not just spring cleaning like once a year, but when do you say it's time to start working through pieces of your home, pieces of your mind, pieces of your heart to say, I need to clear this out. I need a restart so I can get some new energy in. And that's what we're kind of focusing on today, right?
Well, I've done I've done those not meditations. Yes, meditations, but full moon, new moon, I don't know what the hell it was. One of them where I've done those things where you like ask to release yourself from anything that's not serving you, right?
Mhm.
Sounds really fucking great. Didn't think about it, right? Just like, yeah, get rid of the shit that's not serving me. And then my life kind of went into full fledged like chaos. And I don't mean like bills or anything like that. It was just like shit was just changing.
Right.
And I um
Wasn't ready.
wasn't prepared for it. So don't fucking ask if you're not ready. Number one.
Nope.
And it will change and it will take all this shit out of your life and disarrange it. And then you're sitting there like, what the fuck just happened? Um, but I found that it was, you don't notice the strings that you hold attached to certain things
Right.
until you don't have those certain things, right? And even just people, relationships, friends, anything like that, once you're kind of left with that void, it's scary. It's really scary to not have those comforts. It's just like kind of your everyday thing, right? You wake up in the morning. I don't know what everyone does in the morning, but normally we either go to the bathroom or we reach for our phone, right? And it's
Mhm.
like, what would you do if that whole phone was just gone?
Right.
Then you're like, oh shit, I don't have any ties to communicate with the outside world here or whatever. So it's just like everything, it rearranges your whole life, your
Mhm.
whole entire life. But so now that I did that and it's happened, if you can go a month or two without it, it's the hardest shit on earth.
Right.
But when
Right.
you get to like month two, you start to become happier. So I
Right.
do believe in some way you go through, I don't want to say a depression, but you do go through a loss, you do go through a grief, you do go
Yeah.
through a sadness, and
Right.
it's something that you have to work through. And the pain is horrible, and the emotions are horrible.
Yes.
Every day going to sleep and it's on your mind, or the worst part, I think, is waking up and then you realize again it's not there, whatever it
Right.
is. Best
Right.
friends, friends, boyfriends, relationships, people, fucking whatever it is. It's, it's like, it's really hard. You
Right.
go through a whole loss process. But I think about 2 months in, you start to like woosah and be
Right.
okay and get used to this normal.
The new normal.
Yeah, the new normal of things.
Right. Tiffany, we can just towards the later part of the show. That's the biggest thing when we're like, I want to change, right? We've declared it. I want to change. I can't stay here anymore. I need my life to change. And that's one of the things we realize, setting the intention to remove what does not serve us. And universe comes in really fucking quickly. And if you're not ready, like real shit, we've learned, if you're not ready, don't fucking say it. because because spirit will come in and start to take a bunch of people that you're just like, but wait a minute, I didn't realize that person wasn't a part of the plan. Like I didn't realize that that's what you guys meant. Like I didn't know that this connection was going to die. And sometimes we don't even realize how people are energy vampires and are
Hmm.
living off of us or sucking energy or just using us. And sometimes we don't realize that, especially if you're busy. It's very easy to overlook things. When you love and care for people, it's very easy to overlook their shitty behavior, their
Hmm.
shitty ways. But in the long run, is it benefiting you? And I don't want to say benefiting, I don't want to use that term, but in the long run, is it doing anything for your soul? Because everything we ask, especially on a spiritual level, it's, is it good for my soul? Is it good for my path? Right. And if it's not good for your path, if it's not good for your soul, well, then it's going to get taken away, especially when you set the intention. And then you start to see like, oh shit, there's been a lot of shit that's just, damn, now I gotta like, okay, what do I do? So if you're, and this is where healing comes into it, right? Because when you're letting shit go, it will trigger something within you, right? Even if it's like grandmother's fucking sweater that you've had
Hmm.
for 15 years, this lady's been gone, right? And it's the thought of throwing this sweater, even though the sweater's itchy as fucking, you'll never wear it, right? Probably doesn't even have her smell on it anymore. The fear behind that loss, because that's the last physical piece that maybe you have besides maybe pictures. That's
Hmm.
the fear of what happens when this goes into the trash. What happens when I no longer have this sweater? And I think sometimes that's where we have to understand to allow ourselves to let go of physical, carry the memories, carry them in energy, open our heart to feel them on that different level. But because we're so, I don't want to say blocked, we're closed minded a lot of the times where the physical death and then that's it. Can't connect, I won't see them, that's it. And so we don't allow ourselves to kind of feel in that way and connect with them through energy and that spirit. And so there's just little things like that where it's like, well, we're working through. I think everything, ask yourself, why are you holding on to this? I think if you get real with yourself, with everything that you have and own, even your emotions, your phone, your Facebook, your Instagram, all of this shit, be honest with yourself. Why do I have it? Why do I have it? There was
I'm,
a time where I used to be on social media because I didn't want to deal with myself. So I would be hours and hours on Facebook and shit, because I didn't, that time just, oh, I'm bored. And instead of
mhm.
putting that time into myself, I would just be bored, looking for attention, looking to whatever the fuck was going on. And then, I would jump on these dating sites and all this bullshit. But the past couple years, when my downtime I put to learn, like actually learning,
Yeah.
perfecting my craft, healing, things that really do sustain and change you. And I think that that's the problem. We're escaping ourselves. We're escaping
Mhm.
the truth, and we're escaping some shit that we really need to look at, you know?
Yeah, I can't do a messy house. If I
Yeah,
know that I get super I'll do that. I'll lock myself in my room or stay in my room for a couple of days, but that shit'll eat at me. I can't do it. I can't do it. Now I
yeah,
don't have a huge problem getting rid of physical things. It's emotional things that are really hard for me, which is weird because I'm not a person who shows too much emotion. But
mm,
there's emotional ties to things that that'll get to me. Like I'll hold on for my dear life if I
right,
possibly can. I still have the flowers from my son's funeral, and they're dead and they're shedding, and I'm like, if I can hold on,
right,
I'm
right,
gonna hold on to these damn flowers.
right,
And they're falling apart, and we moved a couple of times, and it's just like, oh man. But
right,
I think when I start to think about emotional things, I think a big one is once you start shedding those things or they go away, I think it makes you reflect on self worth a lot when it comes to emotional shit.
right,
And I think that's really hard for some people to do, is because it was hard for me to do at one point, extremely hard for me to do. So I think once you start shedding those emotional things, a lot of times we don't have anyone to look at but ourselves, and we get into this, why am I not good enough, or um, what did I do wrong, why can't I keep and maintain healthy relationships, or why
right,
don't people like me, or blah blah blah. So I think that's the killer part about releasing and letting go of emotional shit, is that you're stuck reflecting on yourself. And that, a lot of times it doesn't have any fucking thing to do with you. But that's the
right,
easiest person to blame, right?
right, right.
The easiest thing to blame is yourself.
Right, right. Because you internalize and you personalize it to self, right? So, one of the biggest things we work with, especially with clients, is relationships, right? We know tarot, number one, is relationships and releasing relationships. And one of my questions are always like, why do you want this person? If things are so bad, if things are so dramatic, if things are so hurtful, why are you still here? You got to be very honest with yourself about the whys, right? Most of it will always go down to not wanting to be alone, because alone is like so much harder than just dealing with someone's bullshit, right? Like having to sit alone and deal with yourself is fucking hard as shit. It's easier just to be like, no, it's them, and we'll just keep that narrative, right?
Mhm.
I'm not the crazy one, it's them.
Has to be. It wouldn't be me. But
Right? I'm not the
I
crazy one,
would
it's
never
them.
let a car on fire. Like, I'm just kidding.
I don't say
It
any mean
is
shit
because
ever, and it's
for me, it's like I'll go my spurts without speaking to people. And if we're going to be honest, or speaking in my last relationship person or whatever. Although again, we are 1,000 miles away from each other, but it's for me, it's that boredom. It's that I'm up late and I can't sleep, so I decide to message somebody, or just have nothing to do, and you're like scrolling through social media, and then you're like, oh, maybe I'll. So even I've noticed even too, like I'll even start a fight every once in a while just because I'm bored. I'm bored,
right,
and it's very very selfish of me. I've noticed that. Like I can say that. I can say that where this person has told me before, like, just leave me alone. If you're not, you're really selfish. You're doing this for yourself. Just leave me alone and let me move on. And I'm not fucking selfish. I'm the most giving person in the world, right? And then I'm like, yeah, bitch, you're selfish. You're
Right.
selfish as shit.
Right. Right.
You over here trying to ruin this man's day because you're bored. What is wrong with you, lady?
Right.
Like,
Right.
but it's true. It's like just not knowing what to do with your time. It's like, what the because I'm not surrounded by friends. I don't have an actual physical group of friends here. I don't have very many friends that I call or talk to. So if I'm not doing work or, chasing around a kid or something, then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, like who do you pass your time with? And it's so selfish because I don't feel like I'm in my situation or relationship based out of love or really giving a shit. It's just me
Right. Right.
being a fucking bored asshole. But then if I take that bored asshole shit away, then what? Then I
Right.
gotta fucking do crossword puzzles with myself, like,
It's the harsh reality. It's
and
the
then I
harsh
do. Then
reality.
I'll start thinking about shit like, um, I'll start thinking about shit or dwelling on shit like, why can't I find a new love or why can't I find a new person and
Right.
spirit, what the hell? Like, bring me who
Right.
I'm supposed to have, and why am I by myself? And so
Right.
it gets there. It gets
Well,
there.
that's one of the things, Elise, that I do bring up with my clients. I'll ask them, what do you do as a hobby?
I
Because
do.
most of the time we have no what people who are really struggling with being alone and stuff like that, you don't have any hobbies. If you look at what you do, it's kind of like go to work, go home, deal with kids, scroll on Facebook. I don't have any hobbies. There's no hobbies. So this is where we will, this is where I kind of let you guys know, like, once you get to that space of first get alone, be alone, you have to discover yourself. Even if you have a person at home, even if you have a relationship, you've been with them forever, you still have to discover, who are you without this relationship? Who are you without these kids? Right? Who are you after the aftermath? What is it that you like to do? Most of the time, we're so busy giving, 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 doing, doing, doing that we never
Yeah.
take the time to figure out who we are. Because then there goes the excuses. I don't have time. I can't do this, and blah blah blah.
Right.
We have a million excuses of why we can't figure out who we are authentically, because we always are, we're somebody's worker, or we're someone's mom, or someone's girlfriend or boyfriend. So if you start to let go of those ideas, first of all, you have to change the mindset. And then you start to say, okay, what do I want to do? And then
Yeah.
you start to you got to demand that time. You can't say, okay, well, I got kids, I got that. I can never be a person with a hobby. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being a shitty mom and a mom who has a hobby.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Two very
I
big
think for
differences.
some it's still at least for me, and I know why, because it's just a part of my personality trait, so I'm sure it is for other people. I can't be the only crazy person. Hobbies are great. I have hobbies. The thing is for me, unless it's a physical, and I don't mean like just with your hands kind of hobby or sewing or something, unless it's like a get me out of the house physical kind of thing, it'll leave me to overthink.
Mm,
Like when I do the dream catchers and the bath salts and stuff like that, I gotta really make sure I'm trying to be in a mental place when I do my bath salts. But
right.
um, it will give me time to where I sit in my own thoughts. Nope. I only have one Gemini moon. No, no error. No. I'm just, uh, I'm a Cancer. I'm an overthinker. I am an overthinker. It has nothing to do with air. And I'm a Cancer who's not emotional. So that just leaves me to be horrible, a horrible person. But it leads me to overthink. So
All right.
for me, I have to like find a way to do something more physical and
Right.
get out of my house, get out of my space, get out of my element.
Right.
Um, but I've learned that's become it's become, I think at first it was really unhealthy because I had to go somewhere, right? I had to spend some money to do something, and then it was like, oh, now
Mhm.
you're just taking it and putting it somewhere else.
Right.
But now that we've learned the area we're in, we do stuff like to go to the bookstore. That is a huge one for me. That is like the biggest release
Right.
in the world for me. Um, the zoo, I love stuff like that. But I can't
Right.
sit overthink some shit.
Right.
Some
I
shit.
think you got to find what works for you. There's so many different things out there. You just have to find what works for you. Not
Yeah,
everybody's hobby is not going to be painting. Everybody's hobby is not going to be, creating something with their hands because everybody is different in that way.
yeah,
Me personally, even though I like to make stuff and do things, I don't give two shits about that because I don't like the very intricate details
intricate things. Yeah,
that starts to get on my nerves. I'll start a job and I've done a lot of DIY projects
yeah, stuff, yeah,
and then I'll be like, fuck this. I'm done with this,
yeah.
right?
Because you and I have that thing where we have to be able to finish it. If
And I'm
it's one of
like,
those things that has to like air dry or something, and you got to
I
come
can't
back
do
to
it.
it, it's like
No.
no, it's got to be done right
If
now.
I can't do it in one sitting, like a couple hours, and you mean to tell me now this has to sit in hours dry, then I got to come back, put another coat, and then hours dry again. Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So anything I have to do, it has to be kind of right there. That's why I like knowledge. One of my hobbies
Yep.
is knowledge. One of my and people think it's crazy. It's like, no, my hobbies is knowledge, looking up shit, Googling shit. I love shit like that.
Yeah.
I love going to different sites and contrasting information. I love learning other religions and stuff.
Yep.
For me, that's a huge fucking hobby for me. I used to love going to the library, which I haven't done it in a while because, online, we have so much access to
The
information now
online shit.
online. It's so easy now to just sit in your own home and do it. But I used to take trips to the library and be there
I
hours.
mean, it's like just being in that place is so like
Yeah,
it's cool to be in this place with all these books and just
right,
to the smell. The
right,
smell is just like, at
right,
least I don't. I'm number one. I don't know. Maybe you're taking it wrong, but I have taken a lot of time to face myself. I am the biggest person. I have taken years to face myself. No relationships altogether. 3 years at a time, actually, which is weird because it was 3 years 5 years ago and then 3 years now. So I've taken huge amounts of time to face myself. And I am at a great point of just being with myself. I enjoy my peace. I enjoy my quiet. I enjoy my books. Now, one thing you don't know about me is other than a beach, I'm not grounding for shit. I am the most ungrounded, grounded person you will ever fucking meet in your life. I hate it. And you know what? And we moved down the street from a damn lake, and I'm not going. You want to know why? Because
why?
somebody just posted fucking alligators there. How the fuck did we get alligators here? I didn't know we had alligators here. I would have never went outside in the first place. Like, what the fuck?
Well, I
But
mean,
yeah,
you have bobcats and shit. Like,
the bobcats I can handle. The alligator? Oh no. But yes, I have taken years to be by myself, to be okay with myself. I love being by myself. I don't know that I really ever want to. I like
right,
to entertain the thought. It would be really nice, but I think that. But it was the hardest thing I ever did was to be alone and to struggle with my own
right,
thoughts,
right.
to figure out who I was. That was
Right.
hugely hard for me.
Well, a lot of people too, where if you think about it, everyone's path is different. So there's some people who have got or had that time to really sit and find out who they were and experience. I can't talk for everyone, but I can speak for as a person who was a mom as a teen.
Oh,
That changes your life. You don't really have that time to learn and grow as a person. You really don't know who you are when you're trying to be a parent. You're trying to raise kids and raise yourself and work full time. So, there's all of these moments. And if you get married, if you get married young and now you're a wife or you're a husband to somebody, it's kind of hard to figure out who the fuck you are when you're trying to be someone for someone else. And we do get lost in that way with other people because we're trying to be who normally we're trying to be who we think they need, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even our kids, we're trying to be these perfect parents for them. We're trying to be the best that we can be, what we think they need, not what they probably truly need, because we're always doing what we think they need as parents. And even your partners, you're trying to be a partner for your person. So a lot of times we go through life like not really understanding to get to that authentic part of ourselves or truly figure out who we are. And it takes time. But when we're talking about letting go, the letting go process doesn't have to be scary, you guys. It doesn't have to be where you feel like you're always losing. You don't have to get to a point where you feel like I will have nothing if I let something go. And that's my point this morning is don't ever feel like you're not going to have nothing if you let this go. And don't be
Right.
afraid of the unknown territory when you let go, because you'll be surprised at the beauty the universe brings in
At what
when
comes
you
up.
do let go. You'll be very surprised at what comes in for you next. So if you can remember that as you're working through your lives, as you're letting shit go, as you're finding who the fuck you are, and I don't care how old you are, because I'm in my
Yeah.
40s and I've only been in my spirit, like really truly stepped in my spiritual path in 2019. Haven't been doing this that long, but I can tell you in this past 3 years, I have I have become more authentic to my true self than I ever have in my
Ever
whole
have
fucking
him.
life.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it has been by letting go and releasing. And even releasing the idea of who I thought I was, that identity of who I was,
Oh yeah.
know. Because and we're gonna talk about spirituality on another segment, but even the idea that identity, which you'll hear terms like ego death and you'll hear dark night of the soul and things like this that touch, really releasing that part of you because it isn't an authentic part, especially the part. And even in shadow work, we work through a piece of letting go the identity that you thought you had to keep or the identity that you were connected to and stuck on.
Right.
Um,
Because it's a facade of what you want to believe. I think that's why people go through midlife crises. Like when
mhm,
their kids finally leave and they're able to retire, and then now you have all this time to yourself,
right,
and you can't figure out who you were. You don't like your wife anymore. Your wife don't like you. Like what's holding y'all together?
right,
You
right,
missed out on the little Camaro because you had to get a minivan. Like,
right. And it's harsh. It is harsh
Mhm.
sometimes, the realization, and this is why people divorce, and divorce is not a bad thing. Our
Mhm.
society will demean people for divorce, but you got to realize that people grow apart and it is okay. The worst thing that we do, and the reason why there's so many horrible divorces, is because of the shame and guilt tied to the fucking divorce in the first place and the inability to let somebody
Mhm.
go. Okay. And we did have a segment, I think a week ago, where we talked about letting people go in that manner, which relationships, not holding on to someone in that way and allowing them to go live their best life, even though it wasn't with you. Like it is very selfish for you to sit and want someone to be miserable just because they couldn't be happy with you. You got to
Mhm.
check yourself in the fucking mirror if you're looking at an ex and you're wishing them hell because they didn't find happiness with you. What kind of person are you? And I'm going to be, let's get real. If you are wishing someone bad because they couldn't find happiness with you, you should be fucking happy that they
Mhm.
found someone that they can fucking love and that loves them. Because even like you're like, yo, you're a piece of shit, and they're not your piece of shit anymore.
Mhm.
Be happy that someone loves that person, not like, oh fuck you. How could you? How do you? And I hear this a lot of my clients. It's like, how could they find love and I'm over here struggling? You're over here struggling because you're still pissed off and mad at this person.
Yep.
That's why, you know. So, letting go is there's so many levels of letting go in our lives, and we just don't understand. We're always trying to force things, and we're scared of the unknown. We're scared of what's next. But if you can push yourself to truly surrender to the universe or God or whoever it is that you believe in, if you could get to that point of truly surrendering, oh, the
Yeah.
amazing shit that comes in for you when you let go. It's way better than what you thought, right? But you'll never see that. You hear people's stories like, "Oh my God." And when I did finally let go, spirit brought this in, the universe or God brought this in. And they're talking about these profound stories, but you'll only get there when you actually let go. You'll only get there when you finally surrender to that higher plan.
I think that's the key thing to knowing that you've let go is once you're able to be happy, um, or not affected. I don't even say happy because you don't have to have an emotion for it. But once you are no longer triggered, affected, or have that spark of emotion, good or bad, um, for somebody you were so tied to or something you were so tied to see it like
Right.
move on and you're like, oh, that's great.
Right.
Or well, I
Right.
don't care. Or
Right.
oh, okay.
Right.
Kind of thing, or it's like that's when you know you've let it go. But that's why I said I think it takes about 2 months, 3 months.
Right.
Um, what does it look like to surrender?
I got something to say, but I'll let you, if you got something, go ahead.
Um, I think that's why I said it takes like 2 or 3 months for you to. No, not saying that in 3 months you're going to be happily ever after, right? But it's just the process. It's the grieving process that you go through, and in about
Right.
3 months you start to stop negatively reflecting on yourself, and you're able to see
Right.
that you're worth more or that you're
Right.
better. Not saying you're better than that person because that might be a great person thing,
Right.
whatever. Um, but just that your energy and your time is it could be so much more constructive doing something else, and that's when I think you kind of get that light and you get that change, but
Right.
you don't stay in the dark forever. I don't think you stay in the dark forever.
No. You know, part of the surrender process is when you I'm going to use a relationship for example. So I'm going to tie it into an example. Let's use a relationship, right? And you start to see the new girlfriend, boyfriend, and every time you see it, you're fucking pissed.
Mm-hmm.
You're mad. What do you do in those moments? You got to ask yourself what you're doing in those moments. Are you saying shit like, what does she have or he have that I don't? You know what I mean? Like, why is it mad? What, because the biggest thing about it is it's your ego. It's your ego that's pissed off. It's your ego that's bruised in this moment. It's not really that this person left you, because on the higher note, on your higher perspective, you'll understand that people change. You'll understand people grow apart, and you'll understand that you need to release. But it's the ego that's like, no, fuck that. This girl or boy is not better than me. Like, what the fuck do they have? And then you start tearing yourself down. Or maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I couldn't give him sex good enough. Maybe I couldn't do this, or maybe I couldn't love her enough. You start breaking yourself down instead of just maybe we just weren't the right people for each other. You internalize it, right? And then you personalize it. You personalize it and you
Yeah.
attack yourself. Surrender is when you start to let go of the idea that you are um somehow inadequate in this situation, right? So even when, let's use a job, let's say you've been a job 5 years, right? You're invested, you got 401k, you got fucking stocks, but you fucking hate it. It's every morning, it's the same shit, and you are dying inside at this fucking job every day, but you hold on to it. Why? Because your ego. Oh, I can't leave it now. I've already been here 5 years. I've already invested 5 years of my time. How can I start over? Again, the fear of starting over. Oh, I make really good money. Well, then you're going to have to fucking suck it up, buttercup, and deal with it. The biggest thing is we let our ego fuck us up all the time, every day. So you're either going to change the way you
Yeah.
see it and start to love,
We
huh?
need to do one of those shows.
What we're going to have an
I
ego one
love my
coming up
ego.
soon. because it is, and that's part of what I talk about in the shadow work class. It's like your ego is a huge part of this, because surrendering is letting go to all of these preconceived notions. Remember, one, you're assuming a bunch of shit when you're looking at situations, especially when it comes to letting go. You're assuming. You're in the assumption mode, and you got to let that go. even if you Even if it's true, right? Let's say you're a shitty person, you were the shitty person in the relationship, right?
Kidding. Everyone's gonna think I'm like this horrible noodle.
Let's say you were the shitty person in the relationship, right? And this person left you for someone else. And now you're beating yourself up. Oh my God, maybe I should have been nicer. Just fucking work on the shit that you understand to be true. All right, I know I can be harsh. Maybe be a little bit more compassionate and work on that. People take it so offensively that maybe you do need some work. Like maybe you're
Yeah.
not as good as you thought you were. Maybe take a twerking class. I fucking don't know, but we get so butt hurt. That's the ego.
Mhm.
The ego is like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm unworthy. I'm this, that, and the third. So surrender looks like you really letting go. You're no longer angry that this person left you. You're no longer mad because this person's passed away. You're no longer angry at yourself because you think, oh, I was stupid in that situation, and you're still demeaning
Yeah.
the past version of yourself. So, on a higher level, when you're looking at it, and it takes time, grieve this shit, you guys. Allow yourself to grieve this shit. You have to allow yourself to work through the process and ask yourself some very honest questions. Why can I not look at this person and be happy for them? There
Mhm.
was times I would see someone and they would kind of diss me, and I would see them with someone all hugged up and all lovey-dovey, like this is my person and we're in love. And I'm like, that's the person you fucking chose? Like for reals? That's what you wanted? Okay.
Whatever.
Ego's bruised. Okay, my ego got hit. Like fuck.
See, y'all know me. I love my ego. I need ego. I think everybody does though. Everyone is like, ego is horrible. That ego guy gets a really bad rap.
It does.
Yes.
It's
Actually, I personally think you have to balance your ego. I don't think ego is a bad thing. It can be
it's not.
too much of it, not being able to recognize it.
Right, right.
But
And
ego is actually there for survival. Ego
right,
is actually there for protection.
right,
Now it is when it gets overprotective,
right,
or when you get manipulative with it, or when
right.
you get to a place of feeling like you're better than somebody because of your ego. Yes, that can
Right,
become icky. But ego itself is something that everybody has to have.
right.
Everybody has to have. It
And
is
I
not
will
a
just
horrible thing. It's just about being able to work with it.
right. And not to plug it in, but that's why I have a shadow work class. You guys, we do
Yeah.
talk about and address ego very strongly in the class, because ego is very, very much down upon, but it is a part of us. It's a part of our identity here. And it is a huge part of your survival and your primal instincts. And we do talk about more. Matter of fact, we're going to do a segment now just so we could talk about ego and
I
go
know,
into
right?
ego a little bit more.
We do.
We'll do a morning show on ego, because ego is. People think you got to kill the ego. People think you got
Mm-mm.
to destroy the ego.
You would be in a horrible place mentally if you got rid of that ego completely.
One, your ego only goes when you die. That's one of the things. Ego doesn't go away until you die, because it's a part of you. It's a part of your identity in this life and attached to you. So it's understanding your ego, going, deeper into that. Like I said, so we'll go a little bit more. Should you want to explore it more, I say take my shadow work class. Go take the shadow work class and look into it a little bit more. But we can have a morning show talking about that. So it's about an hour. We want to keep these shows into an hour. We don't want to go too long on these. So we're going to do the daily horoscope for the